Hello everyone, what you're about to watch is a free segment from this week's subscriber-exclusive Final Word show. If you enjoy it, go to the redmentv.com and sign up. Get your free month, and then it's just £2 a month to watch the full show. 60 minutes of Reds goodness after every single game.
I don't get it. Like, I mean, we were having a chat on Twitter on Saturday night, wasn't it? And someone was in the comments of my fan reaction, and we're talking about like, don't get too up. We're going to lose against Burnley at the weekend and all this. And I'm like, why? Why do you do it to yourselves? I genuinely don't understand it, because if you can't celebrate a win, when can you celebrate anything in football? No. Because, you know, you're not guaranteed to win trophies at the end of the season. If you have a win and then you're already looking forward to the next game, when do you get the enjoyment of that victory? It's a massive win against a massive side.
Out of football if you can't enjoy the win.
I think it's this feeling around the supporters that we're just a catastrophe type of club.
Yeah.
You know, that, you know, yes, you have a great win, but obviously you're then going to lose to some rubbish, aren't you? That's the way Liverpool are, and that sort of pervades the fan base.
We were talking about this yesterday, weren't we, about how I think there's a generation. It comes off the back of the podcast when we were talking about we're lucky that we've seen success, so it sustains us. You know, and the older you are, the more success you've seen, so the more you have to fall back on. Whereas the younger you are, you know, I've seen Liverpool fall short time and time again. I also think it combines with this culture where people don't like to be embarrassed. Nowadays, I think teenagers hate it. They hate cringe-worthy things, and they hate being built up to be knocked down. And Liverpool have had so much of that in recent times. So I think all a win. I think this is the reply I put to you, is that they only ever see a win as a higher height from which to fall flat on your face, as opposed to being able to take enjoyment of it, which is just, it's perverse. We're so exposed to fans of other teams as well these days. I think especially there's more and more, and I think with the young part of the fan base as well, is that there is this, it's just, I say, it's embarrassment culture, and what they hate this idea of getting up. It's like all the people said to me, why were you singing you're going to win the league? You sang it too early. You should be embarrassed. This back in 13-14, it was like, we just beat our nearest rivals. We were top of the league. We were closing it. We felt as good as any period of doing it. I'm not embarrassed. I'm annoyed that it didn't come off, but at the time it was what it was. But people don't seem capable of handling the potential of it. So they're like, oh no, but it's gonna go. It's just fatalist thinking, and it pervades everything.
As we said at the time, it's suggesting that you can't sing we're going to win the league until like 2 minutes before the final game, when you're 5-0 up and you're going to win it. Yeah. You know, that's stupid.
Yeah, you're 5 points clear at the top of the league and you start singing it.
When should you sing it? You should sing it as early as you think is likely.
Yeah, the idea is that you can put some of that confidence into your team. You know, Leicester fans were singing it for ages. I don't know whether they were believing it, but they started to believe it. And then the team started to believe it and all that type of stuff. And you're like, this is brilliant. That's what I want to see.
It is just that time between trophies. It buys you time. It gives you a memory, gives you something to go back on. Because you can't. I can talk about the Europa League final, and we had an amazing time, apart from 45 minutes, you know, in the 2 or 3 days or whatever we took out to go and do that. But you can't put it up there. You can't put it up there with Istanbul, and you can't put it up there with the FA Cup final in 2006, and you can't put it up there with the treble season. It's something, and to do that is actually a little bit embarrassing. I showed you how far we've fallen if we want to hold that up as a moment. So this is what
you want to hold we need up to get is the fact that now we've got Klopp, every team in Europe is frightened of us.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Burnley went to Swansea the other day, scored a couple of goals. You know, very unlucky to lose the game. They're not going to play anything like that when they come to Anfield because they're scared to death of us. Yeah. They're going to put up 2 banks of 4 and possibly 2 banks of 5. I don't know, but they are going to be scared of us, and that's what Klopp's done.
Yeah.
You know, we're no longer a side who everyone sort of sniggers at a bit. You know, you never win anything. Everyone is scared to death that we are going to be winning things.
Yeah. And you know, you said that. You talked about the Europa League final there. I've not been to a European final before. For me, I will carry that with me.
Yeah.
You know, for as long as I need. Now, obviously, you're right. You can't hold that up there with the Istanbuls and stuff. But how many teams over the 130 years of association football from England have got to a European final?
Completely.
Maybe 10 teams in 130 years.
The problem with it is, though, Chris, is it requires 2 minutes of conversation around it to say why it's a good thing.
But
But
it shouldn't, because regardless of what other people think, I know that was special to me.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't give a rat's arse what anybody else thinks. And
True.
people can shout it down
No,
all
no.
they want, Paul. And you know what? They might have a point. But ultimately, I got to see us dominate a very good Villarreal side. I got to see what the best atmosphere I've ever been in and experience in the Dortmund game, in one of the best games of football I've ever watched. So although that moment was crap, at the end of it, for me, that entire run was unbelievable.
Like I say, what it boils down to is we're not the problem, because again that sustains us. We're able to go. We're able to see it and go, I believe that's a first step towards greatness. I can foresee a future where we do look back on that in a year or two, when we've won a major honour and we're going, how important was that for all of us as the learning curve? But again, if you're 18 years old and the last piece of silverware Liverpool won was when you were 11 and it was a League Cup, and prior to that you were a squirt, when Liverpool were actually a half decent team. That's where we're falling foul. That's where we need it. It must be loads harder to go to be objective about where Liverpool are, and that's why again it's about faith. What you were saying, John, it's about what we all need to do, is because that's what football is. You've got to put your faith in the guys going out there week in, week out. I think I understand why it's harder for a generation of Liverpool fans, because they don't have the experience of Liverpool being a successful team. They have the experience of Liverpool being a team that gets really close and fucking falls over at that kind of thing. And that's where there's nothing we can do about it. We have to have faith and we have to sit and wait. But
I mean, for me, the fact that Klopp has arrived and he's changed the whole atmosphere, the fact that he got to 2 finals, within the first 12 months, and he's got us beating every decent team in the league, that's grounds for optimism.
Absolutely.
And what the hell should you do? But optimistic.
Exactly. Yeah. I know.
It's ridiculous.
I completely agree. I think we get that,
it's only the start of a long-term game plan.
Yeah.
And hopefully we will win those trophies. But until we do, you've got to be confident that Klopp's going to get it right. The team have still got to get out and do it.
Yeah.
And I defy anyone to tell me that they weren't scared of it in the second half when they'd hit the bar and they'd scored. Sanchez was on. Everyone, I'm sure, at a moment of thinking, oh, well, maybe Arsenal are going to come back now and play properly like Arsenal.
Yeah.
But the way our team is, we were able to ride that, and then just became better and better and better.
This is it, isn't it?
But there was also a tinge of relief when that final third goal went in.
When that third goal
I was jumping up and down thinking, how brilliant, how exciting. Thank God.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, get me finger out of your mouth, lad. Some guy just chomping on my little finger, like, I just wanted it back. But that for me, it was a dominant performance from Liverpool. Yeah. But we've had those games, and they're almost unsustainable in the Rodgers side, where you go and beat them 5-1, and you get 4-0 against Tottenham and 5-0. 2 dominant performances in Tottenham and Arsenal, because ultimately that scoreline still didn't flatter us. We could have been 4-0 up in the first half against Arsenal, and no one would have batted an eyelid.
And as you say, what it all boils down to as well is, for no matter what you're thinking about it, no matter where Arsenal are in terms of the manager and all the stuff around them, it is exactly what it is. Liverpool have gone to a team that who consistently finish above us. They've finished above us now for 10 years. You know what I mean? With the exception of a one-off season in 13-14, which is now what it looks like. And that's to do the double over them. Again, it boils down to mentality, doesn't it? And people who want to be miserable ultimately are going to be miserable. But I'm so buzzing about the whole.
What is it? 8 years since anyone did the double over them in the season?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, there you go. And these are the things. I think it's almost like we could just do with having a running check sheet that's handed out to every Liverpool fan, and it's like, here's the list of positives, here's the list of the really good things we've done this year, and here's the list of things we've fucked up or haven't gone right, and I can guarantee the positives so far outweigh the negatives and what we're doing. And again, in terms of taking the long-term vision for it, it's just that the problem is, of course, everyone is so scared of this 2 games on the bounce means that it's all gone horrifically tits up, and that fear is being fed to people 24 hours a day, because that's how people drive clicks on social media and on websites. Is, oh, the manager's not good, let's talk about why the manager's not getting things right, yada yada yada, instead of just going, you know what, actually Liverpool have been by and large fucking amazing this year. We've been undone by a few problems that, heaven forbid, we might actually be able to fix in another summer. It might actually be a long-term vision and a long-term project that the manager's undergoing, and we're not looking to do it all in one go. Shock. Who knows? Maybe we can just actually, as you say, Chris, get back to enjoying the ride for a change, because it must be exhausting. It's exhausting as it is, but to totally buy into the up and down.
But it's sad. We have a win against one of the best teams in Europe, and people, and even us, were talking about people being negative.
Right, for the probably like 4 of you stuck around, if you enjoyed that and you want to watch the full show, you can do by clicking the button here, the one that has like numbers and writing on. Go over to redmentv.com, sign up and get your free month and watch the full Final Word show.